it's Eric, and I am back on the bike here, and this is the second episode in my series in which I look at the bikes that I'm considering taking over to France later this year. So up this week is my 1976 Centurion Pro Tour. It's a very nice bike that I bought last year from another rider who had bought it and refurbished it, put it back into riding condition. So I'm going to give you a brief tour of the bike, talk about some pros and cons of it. Sorry about the horn there. So I'll give you a brief tour of the bike, talk about some pros and cons, and then in a future episode we'll look at one or two more bikes, because it's an important decision to make. You're going to sit on the bike for a long time, both in the brevets and on the event, and important to get something that you like to ride. So here goes.
The Centurion Pro Tour was introduced in 1976, right at the height of the bicentennial bike touring phenomenon. It was a nicely made bike. As you can see here, Gary Fisher reviewed it for Bicycling Magazine. And this is my example. I bought this from another rider who found it, did a lot of refurbishing on it. So it's basically set up for Randonneuring right now. You can see it's in very nice condition. That's the original paint. The decals have come off, and some of the pieces there are not original. Basically, the running gear, for the most part, is not original to the bike, except the brakes. Very classic, very French styling, much like my two Alex Singer bikes. I put a handlebar bag on there. You can see a headlight mounted on the front fender there, very much in the French fashion. There are the brakes. One of the nicest features of the bike, those are center pull brakes with braze-on mounts. It's a very light, very powerful setup. Eliminates a lot of parts that are not needed if you're not bolting the bikes on. Brooks saddle, Nito seat post. You can see a very nice seat cluster there. The mounting for the rear brake cable integrated into the frame. Now, one interesting thing about this bike is it only has one water bottle braze on. There's nothing on the seat post, which I just can't understand given that this was built to be a touring bike. So as I said, the original paint, lug lining there on the very simple lugs is still in place, as was a style at that time. Very few actual braze-on fittings. The brake cable there, if you can see, is fastened to the frame using clamps. There's the back brake. The fenders are new to the bike. This bike did not come with fenders when it was first made, so that was an addition that the prior owner put on there. So this is a very nice riding bike. Like riding it a lot. There's the front generator that I put on there. It powers that light that's up on the front fender. Now it doesn't power the rear taillight, which you'll see here in a second. There's the kind of cockpit. That's my Wahoo Element computer. There's a bell on there. There is the bag, and you can see one of the things I almost always have in my bag are cameras. There's a video camera and a still camera in there. I actually usually keep foam padding at the bottom of my bags to protect the camera gear that's almost always in them. That bag, by the way, was made by Eli at Ruthworks in San Francisco. And it is held onto the bike with actually a vintage support that just sort of fits onto the handlebar and stem. Not quite a décolleur. If you can see, the bag is actually zip tied onto the support, but very clean setup and kind of fits with the old style of the bike. There's that front light. That's a mount on there from Velo Lumino, and then the wiring goes underneath the fender. Original brake levers with a nice quick release there on the levers, which makes wheel changes a lot easier, especially out on the road. That is a Suntour Derailleur, not original to the bike, but very close to the one that would have been on it. Strong light crank up at the front there, also not original to the bike. A lot of chrome plating on there. I believe the entire frame is chrome plated underneath the paint. It's nice. It's not the nicest chrome plating I've ever seen, but it is very nice. I always get a lot of compliments on the appearance of the bike and the way it looks. Crank Brothers pedals, and yeah, there you can see the Strong-Light logo on the crankset. So I do like riding this bike a lot. I've taken it on double centuries. I've taken it on a 300K. It's a very nice bike. There, by the way, is the rear tail light. Now that is from a Danish company called Relight, and that tail light is powered by that black thing that sits next to the rim. So if you're familiar with Magnic lights, which is a German manufacturer, they came out a few years ago with lights that generate electricity simply by the motion of the wheel passing by their lights. This is the same thing. There's no contact there.
So this bike really is a contender. I really like riding it. The only downside, as I mentioned, is that once in a while, and I don't really know why, it just feels kind of slow. I mean, on the same ride, I'll have parts of the ride where the bike really feels super light and lively, and other times when it just doesn't. More than on other bikes. I mean, you always have high and low points, so I'll keep tracking that down and make a decision later. But that would really be the only reason I decide not to take this bike over to France. Would just hate to show up there and feel like I was going slow, especially on a very long event like that. So this bike is a real contender. It rides well. It's very simple. It looks right. Handles very nicely. Has all the lights built in. I don't need to worry about battery lights. So we'll see. I'll be focusing on one or two other bikes that are on the short list in future videos. And I'll let you know as soon as I make a decision which bike is going to France this year. Once again, thanks to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. Very nice to see you all out there watching the videos. Definitely appreciate that. If you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's free, and you'll know when I post future videos. If you like this, go ahead and hit that button. And until next time, ride safe, have fun, and I'll see you in the next PBP tips. Bye.